After watching the videos and reading the book for this week, I've really come to the conclusion that Rapid City, where I live, is a very racialized society. I'm going off of the definition given by Emerson and Smith, stating that your race defines your quality of life, the advantages, disadvantages, so forth. I believe Rapid City is the exact same way. We have about 73,000 people that live in this town, and almost a quarter of them are Native American, and their quality of life is completely different than ours. Their views, the way people look at them, the advantages they have, the disadvantages, everything is completely different. As a white person in this town, I realize I have a lot more advantages than they do, primarily because of race. And so I can't deny the fact that we are a racialized society. The reason I believe it would be counterproductive to call myself colorblind is the same reason I say it was counterproductive to watch a failing marriage and say there's no problems. All we're doing is turning a blind eye to something. We're closing our eyes to the real issue. Not only that, when we say we're colorblind, we're becoming ignorant to the fact that we have all of these advantages that we've talked about, that we're giving so many more opportunities, that we have a better way of life, that there are things we don't have to worry about that other people do. We're just ignoring all of that by saying, well, I don't see color. Until we realize the real situation that we are at an advantage because of our race, then we can start tackling the issue. I think it's always going to be really tough to talk about race without taking it personally, just because of all the history and the emotions in the past and the hurt, everything tied with the history of your race. Like I said here, the Native Americans, they're very proud of their culture, they're very proud of their heritage. They're also still very hurt by the fact that they lived here peacefully for hundreds of years, and then we came in and basically invaded and took their land. And so whenever we bring up white and Native American or white or black or anything like that, we're always going to have to deal with the history behind the culture and the race and the ethnicity. And until that changes, there's always going to be hurt feelings. Finally, I think churches end up segregating because what they're really doing is serving the problem, but they're not serving the person. I look at the church I attend, and I think we're just as to blame as anybody else. We do a lot of serving here in the Native American population, and we even actually fund a church for them. But I've realized, especially going through this class, that we really segregate them by giving them their own church. Instead of saying, hey, like, you're welcome to come with us, we're saying, here, why don't you have your own? And it makes them feel like they're unwelcome at our church, but they have their own. It's almost like a separate but equal thing. But not only that, when we serve them, we're not really tackling the context, or we're not trying to understand where they're coming from or their struggles or anything like that. We're not trying to step into their shoes. All we're realizing is, okay, they need some help, so we're going to help them. That gives us this feeling of superiority because, as good Christians, we helped people, but we really didn't help who they are. We just helped their circumstance. And because of that, all we end up doing is making ourselves feel more superior to them.